UFC 327 is Saturday, and this card has so many locks that are going under the betting radar. Let me tell you this right now. This year, I've only missed one main event. My UFC knowledge is only yet to grow. I can guarantee you these are locks with I'm putting nothing on the line. Let's go. Okay, so I really want to start off with this fight because I'm so absolutely confident in my pick. It's Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovics. And let's start off. Let's look at the careers, right? Esteban Ribovics, he's unranked. He's had a pretty solid career. He's only 29 years old. His best win, probably Terrence McKinney. Looked like he maybe beat Charlie Kirk's cousin at some point by unanimous decision. The Zellhuber win was pretty big. His most recent win was okay. But honestly, he's never really done anything special. He's lost not huge competition at all. Now let's go look at Gamrot, my boy. He's getting up there in age. It's not a big deal. This guy gets in the UFC and he loses his first fight. Who cares? So did Diego Lopez. Then he goes on a 4-fight win streak. The first 3 being finishes. And then the fourth, who'd he beat? Who is that? Oh, I think I heard him. Arman Sarukian? Yeah, that was genuinely one of the greatest performances we've seen by a younger guy when he was 32 in the UFC. It was a phenomenal performance. Then they throw him to Beneil Dariush, kind of in his prime. It's an okay loss. Goes on a 3-fight win streak, beating Dos Anjos and Fiziev. He knocked out Fiziev, which is very impressive. Then he lost to Dan Hooker in a split decision. 2024, Dan Hooker was really good then. Now he's getting up in age. Then they recently throw him to Charles Oliveira. As you can see, the UFC loves throwing these guys to the dogs of the division. He's getting up there in age, but he has so much experience and so much skill. I 1000% believe that he's going to be able to knock out Ribovics, some guy you've probably never heard of unless you're a hardcore fan. So, moving on. 1 second. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Now, I'm normally not the kind of guy to want to trash talk UFC fighters, but both these guys are low-key kind of shitters. Kevin Holland falters under every single big chance he gets. Let's look at his career. Ryan de Ritter, Delize, MVP, Jack Del Maddalena, Wonderboy, Hamzat. And this dude fights so much. It's like Merab against Petr Yan. It's starting to hurt him at this point. There's no need. Does this guy just love being in training camp the entire year? I love Kevin Holland. He's funny. He's entertaining. But for some reason, he just doesn't have the skill or whatever it needs to be taking. His cardio's mid. His striking's great. His wrestling's pretty garbage. He doesn't really have what it takes to be the next level. He's fighting Randy Brown, who I have in this fight. And I'll tell you why. Randy Brown, he's also lost to Jack Della Maddalena. He's lost to Bonfim and Brian Battle somehow. But his wins are a lot more consistent, and they make more sense compared to Kevin Holland's wins. He's beating guys who are at least somewhat, really like, oh, yeah, oh, okay, I'll take that as a pretty solid win. But at the end of the day, they're pretty similarly matched. I just think that Randy Brown's going to be able to take it to a win, whether it be by, let's be honest, he's probably just going to do what he does best. And he's definitely going to mix it up, actually. I think he's just going to bring it to unanimous decision. I don't think there's going to be a finish unless Kevin Holland, if there is a finish, it's going to be Kevin Holland winning. Which, whatever. Prove me wrong. But I have Randy Brown on this one for sure. Moving on. Very interesting fight. Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. I don't like to shit talk fighters a lot, but when it comes to Patricio Pitbull, I hate the guy. He's a bum, dude. He gets to the UFC after having a mid-career in Bellator, and he loses to Yair Rodriguez. Then he takes on Dan Ige in a fight I thought he lost, but that's besides the point. This guy is Garbo. He's way too short, even for featherweight, because Volk is the same height, but at the same time, he doesn't have the reach that Volk has. It's not even close. This guy just loves to stay shelled up and pick his fights, and he's going to get absolutely dominated by Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico came into the UFC, and he immediately fought Lerone Murphy, undefeated fighter, and he was winning that fight. He was beating Lerone Murphy,
until Lamar Murphy. I'm not going to call it a lucky knockout, but, he was getting dominated by Aaron Pico and mixing it up, wrestling, striking. I think he's going to wrestle Pitbull. He's going to mix it up. He's going to outscore him. He might even finish him. Patricio Pitbull is mediocre. He's getting up there in age. He's just not a great fighter. He has no more career in the UFC. In my opinion, he should retire. But, moving on, obviously, Aaron Pico's going to win that fight. Come on, guys. Got Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. 1 second. So, these guys, this is like old head versus old head. Cub Swanson is literally 42. But, let's see. Career, very up and down. This guy has beat Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier back to back. But then again, that was 14 years ago, so I digress. Recently, he still finds a way to get a win, but that was 2 years ago. Let's look at Nate now. Also, very up and down career. Not really any good wins, but at the same time, Cub Swanson's good wins were a decade ago, dude. So, no matter how you want to look at it, this is just two old heads going to battle out. It's going to be a skillful fight. It's not going to be very athletic, like we're going to see with Kevin Holland, for example. It's not racially motivated, I promise. But if I had to guess, Cub Swanson, he's just a total legend of the sport. Even though he's never touched gold, he's just a legend. And I do believe this is a retirement fight. I think he'll win it just based off of experience, and his striking is for sure better. Might get wrestled to the ground and road, but I do have Cub Swanson. Oh yeah, Johnny Walker, Dominic Reyes. So I'm actually a huge Johnny Walker fan, which is exactly why I have him winning. And let me tell you why. Dominic Reyes, though he's only 36, he's kind of starting to lose it. Went on a 3-fight win streak against a bunch of nobodies. Then he lost to Carlos Ulberg. Who wouldn't? That's lower in the light heavyweight rankings. But, obviously his career has been very interesting to say nonetheless. He beat John Jones, despite the refs. And then he went on to lose 3 more fights. And he has a couple good wins, all by KO. This dude is like glass chin. But on the other side of the spectrum, we have another spectrum, pun intended. We also have another glass chin. This guy's like Katy Perry. He's out, then he's cold. He's up, then he's down. He's in, then he's out. He's either going to get knocked out. This fight's going to end in a knockout. Let's just be totally honest, guys. And I'll tell you why, Johnny Walker. He's so much more athletic, and he's at the point in his game where he can bring anything into the cage and leave it out from his training camp. You really don't know what Johnny Walker's going to bring into this fight, because I think he's a fantastic wrestler. It's kind of a hot take, but I really do believe that. I think his striking is super creative, although Dominic Reyes does have really strong striking, really technical striking. Johnny Walker is going to be able to overpower him and really just creatively outstrike him with, unique and dynamic angles. And he's going to be able to wrestle him whenever he wants. Although Dominic Reyes' takedown defense is solid, so he's getting... it's hard to say because Johnny Walker's really that athletic guy, so I think he's going to be able to at least secure a couple takedowns, although some of them do get snubbed. That just might be how it is. Sorry, my audio cut, but moving on, got Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hockett. There's one thing about this fight, it's that Curtis Blaydes would not be losing. Let's look at Josh Hockett's career. If you don't know much about the UFC, you're going to look at this guy and be like, okay, wow, undefeated, 3 wins in the UFC, all by knockout, and one of them most recently was somehow by middle finger. And you might look at this guy and go, okay, yeah. You might watch his fights and go, he's pretty good, he looks alright, he's got some pretty good striking, I guess. Then you go look at Curtis Blaydes' career, and if you don't know much, you'll be like, oh, he loses a lot. But if you know a little bit about the sport, you're going to look at this guy's career and go, wow, fantastic. Let's see who he lost to. Francis Ngannou twice, Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich, and Tom Aspinall. Come on. Those are such... If you were to lose in the UFC, these are great guys to lose to. I'm just going to put it out like that. Because this guy not only has great losses, but he also has fantastic wins. This guy beat Tom Aspinall at one point, guys. He beat Volkov. He beat Dos Santos. He beat Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem. This guy, Curtis Blaydes, if you don't know how he is, you're going to know after this fight. Because he is a beast. This is the exact kind of fight he needs to get him back in the contention. Because I can promise you, he's going to dominate this bum Josh Hockett. Curtis Blaydes is such a multifaceted fighter. He's going to be able to mix it up in there. he can beat him in any game. He can get him to the ground and submit him, or he can knock him right out. Let's look at the size difference because there is a big one: 3 inches in height and 6 inches in reach. If you're a betting man at all, put the house on Curtis Blades. Moving on though, you got Amazat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. And then again, if you're not a big UFC guy, you're gonna go look at these guys' career. Paulo Costa, okay, pretty strong career. Looks like he has a couple losses recently. I saw his fight with Israel Adesanya. It looked pretty fun. Then you look at this other guy's career. Who is? Oh, he's undefeated, 16-0 in the UFC. This guy's one of those guys that you see in a UFC scene every once in a while, and you look into him a little bit and you're like, wow, that guy's just one of those Russian dudes who just comes and fucks everything up, because that's exactly what this guy did. He gets in the scene, in the UFC scene, he finishes everybody but one guy by knockout eloquently. Most recently, 2 of the first round ones. And you go look at Paulo Costa's career, and really his most recent win was against Roman Kopylov, who's not great. He's not great at all. He's an okay striker. He's got great body kicks, but other than that, he's really nothing. Then he loses 4 times with 1 win over old Luke Rockhold. He had a great fight with Izzy Adesanya. He had a great fight with Sean Strickland, which he definitely lost. I don't know why that split decision. He lost to Robert Whittaker, as anybody would in 2024. And he lost to Marvin Vettori. Look, Paulo Costa is a legend of the sport. He's not that old. He's 34, which is a decent fighting age. But he's just not good enough to really compete at that further level, as we've seen time and time again. His best win is against Yoel Romero, which is a strong win, but at the same time, you really just can't compete with those champion contention level fighters. And that's exactly what Azamat is. He's a champion level fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets to the top. And then at light heavyweight, dude, this fight's at my bad. This fight's light heavyweight. And the light heavyweight, no, Paulo Costa for some reason says middleweight. At light heavyweight, he can definitely compete with some of the best guys. Although, I don't know, his future is definitely bright, but he's gonna win this fight against Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, he definitely has a future still in the UFC. I'm not saying he should retire, but he definitely needs to get some easy fights in his career to make his resume look better. So, I do have Azamat. Moving on, the main event, Jiri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. And originally, I was leaning very heavily toward Carlos Ulberg, because look at his career. I watched a couple of his past fights, and it's super strong. This guy's super dominant, and he's all around strong, right? He can stand up, he can stand and bang, he can wrestle, he's got pretty strong jiu-jitsu, and this guy has gone undefeated in the UFC since 2021, and he's on let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fight win streak. That's pretty good if you ask me. But who's he going against? Who is this guy? I'm coming, Jiri Prochazka. He's just so good and so creative. And like I said, originally I was leaning toward Carlos Ulberg because I thought he's going to be able to mix it up against Jiri. And I thought he's going to really be able to, I don't know, just kind of confuse him and dominate him. Even, take him to the ground and really just mess with him there. But then I got reminded of who Jiri Prochazka really is. His most recent fight with Khalil Rountree Jr. I hate to say it, but he was losing those first 2 rounds. And this is a really hot take, but I feel like Khalil Rountree has some of the best skills in lightweight right now. I think he was absolutely dominating Jiri, but his just cardio ran out. He was going to win that fight, and he got knocked out off cardio, really. But with that said, Jiri's career besides that is phenomenal. He lost to Alex Pereira twice, and that's it in the UFC. Jamal Hill. Dominic Reyes. He beat freaking Glover Teixeira by submission for his first title shot. Come on, guys. We all know who Jiri is. We've always seen the edits. We've seen everything. He's a big media guy, unlike Carlos Ulberg, which is, I do think that's kind of why Jiri's getting all this hype about winning this fight, is because he's a big media guy. But at the same time, his striking is so dynamically creative. He's going to be able to knock out Carlos Ulberg, and that's truly how I believe this fight will end. And he's just like I said, his striking is so creative and he's super athletic. I think he's gonna be able to mix him up really bad because Carlos Oberg's competition, he's not really gone against any really strong strikers other than Dominic Reyes, so he happened to get the finish on because he's a real chinny guy. Jan Blazkowicz, pretty strong striker as well, but not really that great. Jiri Prochazka, he's debatably the best striker in light heavyweight now, besides Khalil Roundtree, considering that Alex Pereira moved up. I think he's going to be able to really mess him up bad with the delayed rights. As you see, when he was fighting Khalil Roundtree Jr., he was throwing those really odd right, left, and then he would like come in with a delayed, really hard delayed right. And I feel like that's a really strong strategy for him to beat Carlos Oberg. Even though I'm sure he's been preparing for that, it's just something that it feels really different in a fight. And Yuri's striking is so strong. He's got a great chin, despite this little video that's been playing right here. He's just got what it takes, really. He's got really strong cardio, as we've seen. And I don't think Carlos Oberg, he's never gone past the third round by his own doing. So I'm sure he's going to go in there good. But is the cardio and drive going to be able to match Yuri's competitiveness? Probably not. I have Yuri by knockout. And I think this fight really could go either way, though. But at the end of the day, Yuri really is that guy. He's that samurai. His striking is that good to keep up with Carlos Oberg's mixed up game. I got Yuri by knockout.
If you actually made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching the entire thing, and you're welcome for all the free money you're probably going to get from my picks. But that's besides the point. I really appreciate you watching the entire thing. Please subscribe. Actually, do subscribe. I'm not really going to even ask at this point. I really need subscribers. If you subscribe, I'm definitely going to put all the hard work and money I'm going to be making, the millions, to better equipment because I know the audio sounds garbage. So thank you so much for watching.